Hello, welcome to another Real Raw moment. This one took me by surprise. Now I know I say that a lot, and that's what makes them real raw moments is they are emotions and circumstances, thoughts, feelings, points of view that I never expected. And I am committed to sharing them and hopefully bringing things out into the open that aren't ordinarily talked about. Emotions, feelings, connections, lack thereof. In alienation in particular, high conflict divorce, high conflict custody cases. And for anybody out there who is watching, who's experiencing none of those, and I know you're out there because you messaged me and thank you for following. I believe that all these messages have root in just our daily life society or the potential to manifest themselves. Maybe it's something you wondered about, maybe it's something you felt. I don't know, but here we go. As I say with my daughter, here we go. We're off like a herd of turtles. Well, we're going to go a little faster than a turtle today. And I'll be very interested to hear everybody's responses. I hope people do respond. One of the things I request with my videos is I want feedback. I want comment. These videos are meant to get people talking without causing big arguments. And this one may teeter on the edge of, some people will think it audacious, bold, wise, stupid. Look, I was trolled this week for giving away food to somebody, dry goods that were expiring that my daughter and I couldn't eat, and I got told I was pathetic. So, I'm right up and I'm ready. And I really do want to share this message. So, without further ado, or prevaricating, which means I'm just putting off the inevitable here. I'll scratch my nose, just put off a little bit longer. Because this one is, well, we're going to call it out of the mouths of babes. So, as you may or may not know, if you've been following me, you will know that my daughter had an emergency appendectomy last week. It'll be today, almost a week, 7 days to the day, or to the hour. Today, certainly 7 days to the hour that we were in the hospital. Yes, being told we're going to have surgery. And I talked about my experiences with that, and of course the emotions, and there's other videos I'm going to do on some other things that came out. But this one, it went one way and then went another. First of all, though, she's healing beautifully. So thank you for your thoughts and prayers. And everyone who supported me, because I needed that. It's a lonely road. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Regardless of my relationship or lack thereof with her father, and regardless of his lack of response to anything that I actually put out, email, request, radio silence. When it comes to health issues, health and welfare, hospitals, surgeries, broken bones, illness, I am going to let him know because he is her father. Now, we're going to get into that relationship for a little bit as we go. But once we knew that we were going to have surgery, I let him know that via text that she was having emergency surgery. I would let him know what the outcome was. Okay, so this is about 7:30 his time. He's 3 hours ahead of me. No response. But I'm not blocked. I don't think I'm blocked. I shouldn't be blocked, but it doesn't look like I'm blocked. No response. That irked me a little, right? Like, it's your child. I don't care you don't talk to me, you hate me. I don't really care. It's our child. And the our part is what's going to play into the rest of this video. Post-surgical, when she was in recovery, and actually 45 minutes after she came out of the OR, we were in the car driving home. How crazy is that? So I didn't get a chance to text until we were home. I had her in bed with me, settled, pain meds, and I knew that I could breathe. And I reached out and said, surgery went very well. Still nothing. Now, 4 or 5 a.m. their time, his time, but nothing through the day. And today, here we are 7 days later, and nothing at all. Although I do know that he knows about it, regardless of whether I am blocked or not, because his people watch my videos here on LinkedIn. They spend quite a lot of time on my profile. I'm not sure why, waiting for me to flub up, I guess, but that's a side note. So anyhow, I know that he knows that this happened. As you can probably understand, or maybe not, what you may not know about me is I have zero family. Zero. Now, to my cousins out there in Edmonton, it doesn't mean I don't love you. We just know we are not a close family. My parents are no longer in my life. One of my alienators, the one I talked about in the other video, somehow brought them. They came together and she became their daughter. And that's another video. Oh my God, I'm getting like, here's what's been going on in my mind the whole week, right? These emotions have power, and this is kind of how my head's been working. But I want to bring it back to the actual point. As one of my dearest friends said, a shaken bottle of pop will eventually explode. And I did. One night, I'll say Tuesday night, so a couple nights, no, 3 nights ago, I lost it. I was crying. I broke a mug. My daughter came down. She's like, it's not a rage room, Mom. We actually got into a fight, which we have not been capable of doing yet in our healing journeys. Actually, that's a whole other video. And I'm crying. This is not a reenactment. This is a reenactment. I feel like those old videos. Okay, I am like crying. As you can see, this is still a really sensitive topic. And I had not told her that I had reached out to her father and let him know what's going on because their relationship is non-existent. And she does not want that relationship to be explored at this time. But it came out in this whole shaken bottle of pop, blew my stack, all the emotions that I was feeling, all the fear that I had in the hospital when I was being brave for her, all the things, and the fact that I'd reached out to her dad and I'd not had a response either way, and how it really bothered me because he is her father and it doesn't matter. And, you know, maybe I would care a little bit less, except that my son lives with him. And that's my alienated son that I haven't talked to in 3 years, and he graduates in 2 weeks. So you could, if you get the picture, a lot of emotions going on right now. Like I am just, you know, what's the geyser at Yosemite? I can't remember. My wise daughter, who doesn't say a lot, but when she speaks, I listen. She said, okay, you're upset that X, she calls him by his name, didn't respond to you. Okay, so you were looking for comfort in that situation and it wasn't given to you. I'm sorry, what? What now? Oh. And I chose to just put a pin in that for therapy today while I got the rest of my emotions out, and we talked about emotions and we talked about a bunch of stuff and away we went. And that's been sitting with me until I came into therapy today. And I've been pondering those little words, and I was angry at them. I was frustrated with them, and I was sad with them. I was reflective with them. And here's what's come out of it, both in therapy today and what I've concluded for myself. Now, this is my life, my emotions, my circumstances. It also does lean into attachment-based theory, attachment types, a whole lot of other stuff. But it's somewhat the same concept as no matter what, and this is a psychological fact, no matter what, the child always wants the parent. And it doesn't matter, short of being insanely abusive, the child still wants the parent. And this comes up in divorce, custody, split, separations, divorce. And especially in alienation, where the child is caught in the middle, even though they may seem to choose sides, they aren't. They're choosing the safety of the side that they have to be on. They don't stop wanting the parent. When it comes to adoption, I'm adopted. And I now know my biological dad through a whole crazy story involving DNA. And he actually said this to me when we first met for the first time in 2018. he said this to me, that the child never stops wanting the parent, and he's adopted as well, and that's why adopted children go out and look for their birth parents. There is an intrinsic primal connection that comes into play. It's a very tiny club, right? You only have two parents. Well, as a parent, you only have one other person that created that entity with you. That's an even more privileged club. That is a party of two. And it took both of you. And it wasn't always bad. Now, I will, of course, I can hear people clapping back and saying, well, was this situation, is that situation? Yes. I understand that there's many complicated situations that a pregnancy could have happened in that you didn't want. I'm not here to get into all that nitty gritty. In general, a child was created by only two people, right? Even if it was in embryos, even if it's an IVF. So there's only one other person, one in the whole wide world, that could possibly understand the pain that you are feeling, possibly understand that heartache, that grief, that anguish, that fear. One other person. And in my case, yes, it's my ex-husband, because he's the father of my two children. And when my daughter said that to me, I really wanted to go on a rager, but I really wanted to be able to come up in here and say, bullshit. Well, she's right. Yes. Now, I was looking for comfort because I am very, very, very much alone. Like I said, I have no family. But I was seeking comfort, at least acknowledgement, from the one other person who I am genetically tied to with this child and their well-being. And that's a humbling moment, but also a interesting learning moment. Because when I reflect back on a lot of my reactions through divorce, through separation, not alienation, alienation's, a little bit different hierarchically, but there's always been a part of me that just wants him to get it. What I view as getting it. And we all have different views. Wants him to step up and respond. Wants him to meet me together in protection and nurturing and the raising of this child or children. And on that day, I wanted that from him because I didn't want to be alone. As a parent, as the parent, one of two, 50% of the makeup of this human being that I'm sitting in the hospital with, knowing that they have to undergo surgery, it's just not the same. Even if you've had a friend go through it, it's just not the same. And so I chose today to come on here and talk about it because I'm not the only one who's experienced this or felt this. I know that for a fact. We can ignore, put down whatever other things we're going to do to the opposite party. And, those things come from big emotions and big causation. But at the end of the day, there's only one other person that created that human with you. And that's powerful. That's a power that cannot be denied. And I'm going to do another video on something about alienation, the cause of it, shortly. I think it's a power that it shouldn't be denied. And I think it's one that we need to talk about. Because it's part of why we go to war so hard, in my opinion. Because we become angry that the other side, the other attached person, genetically attached person, isn't meeting our needs, what we think our needs are, what we think our children's needs are, what we perceive should be going on. And this is just, I'm even talking about just in marriage in general. This isn't just alienation or high conflict anything. I believe that a lot of things, and I say this reflecting on my marriage, a lot of things could be handled differently if we took the time to acknowledge the privilege that we have to be 50% of somebody's somebody's makeup, this human being. That's such a privilege. It's not a right. And I think we tend to mess it up because we make it personal about us and our attachment and our intergenerational trauma, which I'll get into some other time. So I wanted to share that emotion, that construct, that or going against a construct. I'm saying things today that aren't necessarily supposed to be shared. People would tell me, and I'm sure will, why would you say that? How could you not? How could you? And that's okay. I'm here to give my real raw moment. I'm here to talk about my emotions, my experiences, and also my training and my research and everything else under the sun. So I really, really would love to hear how you feel about this, what you think about it. Please share it with anybody that you think will be relevant to, and pretty much it's relevant to all parents in some form. And I look forward to your comments below.